When you hear AI revolution, what comes to mind? Probably chatbots, right? Or maybe self-driving cars. But what if I told you some of the biggest changes, the ones that are really moving the needle, aren't in the news at all? They're happening quietly, deep inside the engines of our economy. And it all kicks off in a place you'd probably never guess.
Yep, believe it or not, the humble forklift. It's actually at the very front of this massive tech shift. And by digging into what's going on inside our warehouses, we get this incredible, crystal clear preview of how AI is about to reshape, well, pretty much every industry from the ground up. So before we jump into the future, let's get grounded in the present. Let's break down the very real impact AI is having today, right now, across four key areas. We're going to look at how it's making things safer and way more efficient, but also, and this is the big one, how it's changing the workforce and the money behind the whole industry. First up, and honestly, this might be the most important one, safety. Warehouses can be really dangerous, but now AI is stepping in, acting like a digital co-pilot that's always on, always watching out for the human operator and literally everyone else in the vicinity. And this is where it gets really smart. We're talking about AI that's proactive, not just reactive. Think about it. Sensors that can predict a collision is about to happen and just stop the forklift, dead in its tracks. The system can even keep an eye on the operator to make sure they're following the rules. And get this, the machine can tell you a part is going to fail before it breaks. That's not just fixing problems, that's preventing accidents from ever even happening. Okay, so what about operations? Well, here we're seeing the rise of totally autonomous forklifts. These are machines that can handle all the boring, repetitive stuff, moving pallets from here to there, 24/7, without a single coffee break. They just don't get tired. But look, this isn't just about getting rid of a driver. It's about injecting a layer of serious intelligence. The AI is constantly calculating the absolute fastest, most efficient route through a chaotic warehouse. It figures out the perfect way to load a pallet for stability and space. And yeah, it does it all around the clock. The result? A just massive jump in productivity. Okay, I know what you're thinking. All this automation, what does that mean for jobs? It's the big question, right? The fear is always that robots just come in and take over. But what we're actually seeing right now on the ground is a story about jobs evolving, not just disappearing. So what does that evolution actually look like? Well, instead of driving one forklift all day, a single worker might now be overseeing a whole fleet of 5 autonomous ones from a console. Or, thanks to tech like 5G, they could be operating a machine in a warehouse across the country, all from a central control room. And how do you learn to do that? Training is moving into these incredible VR simulators where you can practice in a totally safe environment. So, see, the job isn't gone. It's just becoming more technical, more skilled, and honestly, probably more interesting. All right, so that's what's happening today, but the pace of this change is just insane. It's speeding up. So now let's look over the horizon. Let's dive into the next wave of innovation. The 6 big trends that are going to completely rewrite the rules for this industry by 2025 and beyond. This next wave is all about making everything smarter. Navigation isn't just following a map, it's predictive. Maintenance isn't just fixing things, it's predicting failures. Safety systems will anticipate danger before anyone's even aware of it. And on top of that, training is going to feel more like a video game, operations are going green, and yeah, whole fleets will be run from one single spot. So let's start with advanced navigation. We're talking about machines that are building and updating these super detailed 3D maps of their surroundings in real time. This isn't just following a line on the floor. This is adapting on the fly to a constantly changing environment. And the economic payoff? It's huge. We're looking at a potential 40% boost in productivity. That's a game changer. Then you've got this idea of hyper-predictive maintenance. Seriously, the best way to picture it is like a Fitbit for a forklift. You have systems like Amazon's Monitron that stick sensors onto the most important parts, the motors, the bearings, and they're constantly tracking things like vibration and temperature. The AI crunches all that data and can flag a potential problem weeks, not days in advance. Suddenly, unexpected downtime, it's just not a thing anymore. And safety, it's getting a massive upgrade too. We're moving way beyond simple warning beeps. Companies like Toyota and Fujitsu are building AI that actually analyzes dashcam footage. It can spot risky behaviors, like, say, an operator looking down at their phone instead of where they're going. It's all about catching those unsafe patterns before they turn into a real accident. You can really see this whole shift in the way we train people. The old way?
Kind of risky, right? You're in a real machine and you can only practice so many things. Now, with AI and VR, a new trainee can try the most dangerous maneuvers over and over again with literally zero real-world consequences. Plus, the system gives them personalized feedback to help them get better. It's just safer, faster, and way more effective. No contest.
And hey, AI is also making the whole industry a lot greener. Just by finding the smartest routes, it can slash fuel consumption and emissions by up to 15%. And for the electric fleets, it figures out the perfect time to charge to avoid those expensive peak electricity rates. And it even helps the batteries last longer, which means less waste. It's sustainability, but powered by pure data.
And this all leads to the final piece, the rise of remote and autonomous fleets. Just picture this. One super skilled operator sitting in a comfortable control center, managing a bunch of forklifts in different warehouses, all at the same time. Suddenly, a company's best operator can be teleported to wherever they're needed most, instantly. It's a huge force multiplier. Okay, so as amazing as all this sounds, let's pump the brakes for a second. It would be a huge mistake to think this transition is just easy. This tech is incredibly powerful, but actually getting it into a warehouse comes with some pretty serious hurdles. The first and biggest hurdle? Money, the cost. A brand new fleet of AI-powered forklifts is a massive upfront investment. And yeah, for a giant corporation, the long-term return on that investment totally makes sense. But for a smaller company, that price tag can be a huge barrier, making it really tough to compete. Then you have the human factor. You can't just buy a bunch of robot forklifts, drop them in a warehouse, and walk away. It doesn't work like that. You need people who know how to install, manage, and maintain these super complex systems. That means reskilling your current workforce isn't just a nice-to-have, it is absolutely essential for this whole thing to work. And finally, we have to talk about security, because these aren't just forklifts anymore. They're basically rolling computers connected to the internet, constantly collecting data. Every single one is a potential backdoor for a cyber attack. And they're gathering tons of sensitive company data that has to be locked down tight. All right. So we've looked at the present, we've peeked into the future, and we've talked about the roadblocks. Let's pull the camera back now. Let's zoom out. What's the big picture? What does this whole story about a forklift really teach us about what's coming for all of us? So what's the takeaway here? Well, the forklift is basically a blueprint. It shows us that AI is completely changing blue-collar industries from the inside out. It proves the future is much more about humans and machines working together, not just robots taking over. And while the drivers are clear, efficiency, safety, sustainability, the challenges are too: cost, reskilling, and security. These are the same hurdles every single industry is going to face. The humble forklift has given us the roadmap for an AI-driven revolution. It proves that even the most established, seemingly low-tech parts of our world are on the brink of a massive change. The revolution isn't coming. It's already here, inside our warehouses. So the only real question left to ask is, which industry is next?